Okay, so anybody that doesn't know me, I'm Matt Hildebrand. I'm the Assistant Chief of the Stafford Fire Department. Our Captain, Derek Ferguson, Levi Blevins, Sean Meshberger, and Jane Gibbons. So this is National Fire Prevention Week. It always falls on the week of October the 9th. That was the Great Chicago Fire of 1871. There's like 17,000 houses and structures that burned. It was a huge, huge fire they weren't prepared for. So that kind of reflects on this week, and that's why we go over fire prevention and talk about it during this week. So the next thing I've got for you is a video that we put together. It's all fires that we've been on, either trainings or actual fires that we've been on with our fire department. Shows a little bit more about what we do as firefighters.
Responded 204 South Union and Stafford. Reported smoke coming from the residence. 1744.
Stuff that we wear during the fire. Usually when we do a structure fire, we have our bunker gear. That'll be this heavier set stuff. We have this inner line which protects us from fires, heat, stuff like that. We have our pants and boots. Also have the same liner on the inside. This protects us from actually burning. We also have wildland gear. It's a lighter gear that kind of helps with when we're outside and there's like grass fire, stuff like that. It's not as heavy. This here is our nozzle. This goes on our hose. This is what we take into house fires with us when we drag our hose in. It has different settings on it. We have a fog, we have a stream. We can adjust it when we want, depending on what kind of fire we're dealing with. This here is our flare. What this does is a signature. We use this if there is any kind of electrical shortage or anything inside the wall and there's heat coming from behind the wall. This helps us find it and track it down. What it does is it will aim it at the wall and it'll tell us exactly what's hot, what the temperature is. That way we know where we need to go into the wall and put out the fire or anything like that. It's a great tool to have because if there's smoke in a house and we don't know what is active on fire, we can aim this in any direction we want to. If you can see, it'll blow up anything that's got a hot signature to it. That way we can see what's hot, what the temperature is, where we need to be. Some of the tools up here, we have our saw. So this saw, we can cut through metal, anything like that we need to. We've got our oven bar, which we can use to pry open doors. We have an accent on this one, and then we have the pry bar on the end of it. So we'll take this in with us. If we need to get into the doorway, we can jam this into the door, prop it open. We have our jaws of life, which we use. We have a battery operated set. So we use that for like cars. We can cut open car doors. We can lift cars up. We can do all sorts of stuff with that as we need to. Flashlights, as you see, we usually have flashlights on our jacket and our helmets because once we're in a smoke-filled house, you can't see anything. The way they came in, as you've seen on each side, they stay low because of the heat and the smoke, so they stay low and they go into houses. That way they can see better and know where they're going. So that's what they did there. Do you guys have any questions about what they did? Any questions about our gear? Yeah.
How are they going on the ground?
They crawl on the ground because when you go into the building, the heat rises, the smoke's high, so they crawl on the ground. That way they can stay low. That way they can see better and get away from the heat. Any other questions about tools, gear, anything like that? No? Okay, I'll turn it back over to Matt. He'll finish the slide for you guys.
All right. So I just got a few pictures for you. So we have a station meeting every 2 weeks. And basically we go to the station, like this one up here, we'll put on our gear and practice putting and taking off our gear. And to pass your firefighter 1 exam, you've got to take all this gear on and off, top to bottom, in 60 seconds for the main gear, and then you've got 60 seconds to be on breathing air as well. So 2 minutes to be able to do all of that. You have to have all skin covered. It's quite a deal, so we practice quite a bit. We'll lay out a hose line like up here and practice following a hose line around our station with blacked out masks. You can see the tape on the mask there where we can't see anything in front, so we practice in blackout situations. We'll also smoke up houses. Saying something, a house is going to be torn down or something, we'll put a smoke barrel in it so we can practice actually putting our guys in where there's smoke and smoking conditions. More practice. We've done some vehicle extrication practice with the county for cutting cars apart, stabilizing them if they're on their tops or on their sides, stuff like that. There's some more practice. Of course, we're in a lot of the parades, more hose line practice, practice flowing water. And then an extension of what we're doing here today is every year we have the elementary kids come to the station. They ride the trucks over there with us. We kind of go into fire prevention with them, talk about some fire safety stuff. They see the same video you guys saw, and we practice putting on our gear in front of them so they can see, especially little kids, what we look like whenever we're completely all masked up and covered. So just a little more community education. It also benefits our ISO rating, which is our rating as a town for how quick we can respond or how much of a response we can perform on a house fire, which directly influences insurance rates on your house inside the city limits or outside the city limits. So every bit of community education we do, just like coming here today, benefits us on that ISO rating. So this year, our theme for Fire Prevention Week is smoke alarms. So we're going to talk just briefly about smoke alarms.
Join the NFPA and fire departments across North America.
Okay, so this is this year's theme.
Join the NFPA and fire departments across North America for Fire Prevention Week 2024. This year's campaign, Smoke Alarms, Make Them Work For You, focuses on the importance of having working smoke alarms in the home. Smoke alarms are the first line of defense in a home fire, but they need to be working to protect you. These 3 actions will ensure your smoke alarms are working for you. Install smoke alarms in every bedroom, outside each separate sleeping area, and on each level of the home. Make sure smoke alarms meet the needs of all family members, including those with sensory or physical disabilities.
Fire, get out.
Test smoke alarms at least once a month by pushing the test button. Replace smoke alarms when they are 10 years old or don't respond when tested. This Fire Prevention Week, we all have a vital role to play in spreading awareness and protecting our loved ones and communities. Remember, install, test, replace. Make sure smoke alarms work for you. Visit fpw.org for more information on smoke alarms.
Okay, so that's this year's theme. We're going to talk just a little bit more about smoke detectors and alarms. You guys have seen like the one on the wall over there in the school. Make a lot of light, loud noise, go outside. That's what these kind of industrial type fire alarms are for. This is more like what you might see in your house. 6 months to a year is when you want to check batteries and make sure they don't need replaced. To test it, push the little button, you know. It says once a month. If you check that once every 6 months, you're doing better than most people. So sometimes you hear that thing chirping. They always seem to go off in the middle of the night whenever they start chirping. That means battery's dead or getting dead. It doesn't mean that they're not going to work, but it just means that that battery needs replaced eventually.
Make sure to test all your smoke alarms once a month. This can be done with a smoke alarm should be installed inside each bedroom and outside each sleeping area on every level of your home, including the basement. For more safety tips, visit Vaughn.com.
Okay, real quick, I'm going to talk about fire extinguishers. So you guys might see these little placards right here, probably in the hallways. Might have a red case over them, something like that. So they are around the school. You might have some around your house. Fire extinguishers tell you what they're good for on the side. I've got a video that will explain that a little more in depth. But basically, you pull the pin, you aim it, and squeeze the trigger. the most important thing to do on fire extinguishers before you use it on a small fire, you don't want to use it on a big fire. Most important thing to do though is to call 911. Because if you don't get that fire out, we can at least be en route and be on our way there so that if it does get bigger, it doesn't have a chance to get really, really big. So I've got a short little video on how to use fire extinguisher.
Knowing how to use a fire extinguisher is an important part of fire safety. Different types of fire extinguishers are designed to fight different types of fires. Two of the most common types are the Class ABC or Class BC fire extinguishers. Both are acceptable to use in the home. Class A is for ordinary combustibles, such as trash, wood, and paper. Class B is for liquids and gases, such as gasoline and grease in a frying pan. Class C is for electric sources, such as wiring and fuse boxes. To safely operate a fire extinguisher, you should use the pass method. P. Hold the pin at the top of the extinguisher. A. Aim the extinguisher nozzle at the base of the fire from a safe distance. S. Squeeze the lever to discharge. S. Sweep from side to side from the base of the fire. For more safety tips, visit vaughan.ca/.
All right, does anybody have any questions about fire extinguishers or smoke alarms, smoke detectors? All right, so real quick, I want to talk about our guys on the station. So we've got 15 guys on Stafford Station. We have a chief, assistant chief, a captain, and 12 firefighters. So we all work our normal jobs. We don't stay at the station. If we get called to an emergency, they page us on our radio. It also comes to our phone, and if we're available, we'll go to the station. If it's a bigger fire, we get better response. If it's a smaller fire, generally just a few of us go. So we finally got them all together for a picture this year, so I wanted to add that in here. Then we've got 6 county trucks. We've got a water tank truck, a rescue truck, and 4 brush trucks. On the county side, that respond to grass and brush fires. We take them to a lot of fires here in town too if they're small. The water truck hauls just water to basically tend to the smaller trucks. And then our rescue truck is the biggest one in the county, where we have jaws, we've got saws, we've got everything we need to for any type of rescue we might come across. So that's kind of this ambulance looking truck over here. Then we have, this is our county engine, but we run 2 engines. So any house fire, we're running both of those engines to it in case one of them conks out, something goes wrong with it, we've got another engine there. Those are what we might respond to house fire or something like that. And then our county ambulances also have them the same. Okay. So real quick, I want to talk about scholarships and job interest. So we're always looking, especially once you guys get to this age, for anybody that might be interested in volunteer fire department. If you're going to be around this area, once you turn 18, you're more than welcome to apply. We're always looking for young blood. We're all getting too old to crawl around the floor like we did anyway, so anybody we can get younger to start teaching is great. So something else I wanted to talk about is the first responder scholarship. So is anybody interested in going into something possibly first responder? Fire, EMS, okay. Maybe police officer, something like that? Okay, so something like that, we've given out scholarships in the past. We haven't for a couple of years because we just haven't had anybody going in to a first responder role. But that is something that we are interested in looking at. If that's something you're interested, I think that, you know, come talk to one of us, talk to Katie. Somebody can get you in touch by the time you get to graduation, and we'll see about getting you a scholarship or something like that. I should mention too that we are just fire-based fire. Technically, there's a couple of us that also do EMS in the county, but EMS is also another good way to get into the healthcare field if you're interested in nursing or even, you know, getting a doctorate or something. That is a good stepping stone into that as well. So, any other questions for me? Fire department, any of the safety stuff we talked about? All right. If not, I'm going to turn this over to Kara, and we're going to do hands-on CPR for a little bit.
But I did have my EMT way before any of my nursing stuff, so it was a great way to step stone up into nursing, kind of have a base knowledge, so it is super cool. So all of these cool mannequins came from our local Stafford County Healthcare Foundation. So we can continue to teach at all the schools. We do Maxville here and hopefully St. John this year as well. So music can save lives. So when we do chest compressions, we want to do chest compressions at a rate of 100 to 120 beats per minute. So these tunes all have, they listen to the bottom 100 beats per minute, they all have that rhythm to them. So as you're doing CPR or helping someone else, you can either sing the song out loud or in your head, and it will help you to write it.
Watching us hide.
Just some tunes that kind of have that rate we're looking for. Okay, this next video is just a hand-only CPR video as well, but there's two steps to hands-only CPR. Do you know what the first step is? What? Call 911. Why? Because if no one comes, you're not going to get anywhere, right? So call 911 and then start CPR. Exactly, perfect.
If you see a teen or adult suddenly collapse, it's important to act fast. Helping to save a life is easier than you might think. Just start hands-only CPR. The first step is to send someone to call 911 or call 911 yourself. Then get directly over the victim. Put the heel of one hand in the center of the chest. Then put your other hand on top of the first. Then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. It's important to push, giving 100 to 120 compressions per minute, which is about the same tempo as the song Stay Alive. Let's hope you never have to use hands-only CPR, but if you see a teen or adult suddenly collapse, don't be afraid to try it. Remember, call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. Your actions can help save a life.
I do like the demonstration on this video, but there's no reason you guys don't need to take off their shirt to do compressions only. I guess unless you're looking for landmarks, but it's not necessary to do compressions. You can just push on their chest. So why learn this? Because you can make a difference and double or triple someone's chance of survival by doing compression CPR. By pumping on the chest, you are circulating that blood through the body, which gets oxygen. The oxygen reserve is like 5 minutes, I believe, all through the body. So by continuing to pump the chest, you give us a chance to hopefully get the AED going, continue CPR, and get them to the hospital with a chance of survival. This slide pretty much says you just need to stay healthy. So if you have infections in your mouth or anywhere else, you need to get care, because anytime you have an infection in your body, it gets in your blood, it makes you all sick. If you're sick, it's hard to get you back if you have any CPR or any other care. Now, I'm going to play some music and you all are going to practice CPR, okay? So you want to kind of keep that beat in mind as you push on these mannequins, okay? And we'll take turns. I think we only have like 15.
Come up here.
get in trouble, there is a, what's it called, Matt, you're smart. A Good Samaritan Act that you cannot be sued if you do CPR.
Yes.
And also if they don't need CPR, if it's a different type of emergency and you misjudged it, that's okay, you're not gonna hurt them. Whatever it is, they need help, you can
Any
get help on the
state,
way, yes.
the Good Samaritan law is anywhere in the United States.
Yes.
So,
Good. Anybody else? Sweet. Back to class you go.
thank you guys.
Okay,